This is the ultimate fire roasted curry. Welcome along to Barbecue Life, where great barbecue doesn't cost a fortune. Today we are making the ultimate fire roasted curry. So we're going to be fire roasting a load of vegetables, and we've got loads of other stuff going in here as well. So to start off with, we need to get some chicken marinade in. So into a little bowl we're going to be putting a teaspoon of garam masala, a teaspoon of curry powder, so you can use mild, medium or hot depending on how hot you want the curry to be. We've got medium curry powder going in mine today. And we're going in with a few tablespoons of coconut milk just to get that into a bit of a liquid, and then we can go into a Ziploc bag, get that in there with some diced up chicken breast, or you can use thigh if you want to. Today I'm using breast. So I've already diced that up off camera. We're just going to get that into the bag, get all of the air out of that bag, and then make sure we massage it all around so that all of the chicken is completely covered in our flavour. And then we can get that into the fridge, and we can leave that for 2 or 3 hours just to marinate while we're getting our other things ready. So now we need to get our kamado lit, because we've got lots of veggies and things we want to char and get lots of flavour in while that chicken is in the fridge marinating. So just go in with a couple of wax woodies, light up in the normal way, and we're aiming for quite a high temperature today, so 250-ish, because we want to really blister our veggies. So once we've got like warm ceramic, we can dial in our vents to about 2.5 on the top, 2.5 fingers in the bottom vent, and that's going to be about right, just to give us a really high heat. We're setting up for direct cooking today, so that we've got all of that heat coming up directly underneath our saucepan or our skillet even, for cooking our curry and for our veggies. But what we have done is we've set up our grill grate at different levels. So we've got our grill grate where we're going to be roasting our veggies off down quite low, so that we can get a nice bit of colour on there, and we've got our grill grate for our skillet later on up nice and high on the highest setting. So now we need to have a look at our veggies. So we've got some tomatoes on the vine, we've got some peppers in varying colours, and some red onions. So the red onions, we're just going to chop them in half and trim off the very wispy piece off the end, but keep the root end. Our peppers and our tomatoes, we're just going to prick them with a knife, because if you don't, all the steam inside them will expand and then it'll explode, and we don't want having that sort of mess inside the kamado, so they are all going to need pricking. Once that kamado is up to temperature, we can pop these on that lower grate, and we're just going to shut the lid down, and we want to build colour. We want to burn and we want to char, because that is going to flavour the flesh on the inside of these veggies, because the skins we're going to take off and discard, and it's just the flavour on the flesh on the inside that we need. So we do this by having that high heat underneath, and every sort of 10-15 minutes we're just going to rotate, and we're just going to be building the colour and building the colour. Same with them onions, we want to have them skin side down to begin with, so that kind of protects the bottom of them and they don't just burn, because it's the same sort of effect of having the skin on the outside of our peppers and tomatoes. Well, once they've started to soften up, we can flip them over and get some nice colour on the inside of them onions as well. And it is just really about building the colour, and the very outside of these veggies we're going to be taking off. So once you're happy with your level of colour on there, you can take them off. You can put them into a Ziploc bag to steam, or you can just cover them over with a tea towel. That's what I did. Just pop them on my chopping board, 5 to 10 minutes on the chopping board, let them steam. It lets them cool down a bit, because they are incredibly hot. At this point we need to take our seeds out of our peppers and take the skin off the outside of our peppers. So the skin should just peel off nicely, and then we can cut into it and just scrape away our seeds. Our tomatoes, we can take them off the vine. You can de-seed these if you don't want the seeds in the curry, which is what I did, and then you can just keep the flesh, or if you don't mind the seeds in there, you can keep the seeds in. And our onions, we're going to roughly chop 1.5 of these to go into our the base of the curry itself, and the other half is going to go into the blender with our tomatoes and with our peppers, because we're going to blend this down, and this is going to be the basis of our sauce. Instead of just having a tomato sauce, we've got our onions in there, we've got some peppers in there, and it's all fire roasted, and the flavours are just super immense to start this curry off. So once we've got it blended down, we've got a really nice paste, and we want to be putting that into our skillet. So first of all, we need to go in with that onion that we roughly chopped, get that in there, and then we can put our spices in there as well. So we're going in with another teaspoon of garam masala and another teaspoon of the curry powder, and we just want to give that onion just a bit more colour. Once that pan's coming up to heat, we can add our garlic. So we're using 4 cloves of garlic in here today that I've already minced up, and that's going to give us again a really nice flavour to the curry. We don't want to put the garlic in too early, and you don't want to leave it too long before you add anything wet, because the garlic can burn and then go bitter. So sort of 30 seconds, once you can really smell that garlic coming through over the smell of the onions, then we're going to break our fry. So we go in with our pureed tomatoes, peppers and onion that we put through the blender, and we go in with the rest of the can of the coconut milk. Now it's just a waiting game for that sauce. We're just going to keep reducing that down, giving ourselves a really nice thick luscious curry. Now we need to get our chicken back out of the fridge. So our chicken today, we've already got that cubed up, we've got loads of flavour on there. I'm going to get that onto one of my large skewers, and then we're just going to pop that onto the kamado at the same level of where that pan is, and we're just going to get some nice colour on the outside of that chicken while our sauce is thickening up, because we're not going to cook our chicken directly in the sauce today. We're going to be cooking it on the kebab and getting the char, and then we can just lay it on top of our curry for presentation later. So it completely depends how thick you want to take your curry down, but once it starts to thicken up, we can go in with a jar of chickpeas, and that gives us a bit more texture in our curry itself. Works incredibly well with the flavours. And we're going to go in with a couple of little round discs of frozen spinach. If you've got fresh spinach, you can chuck that in. We had frozen spinach sitting in the freezer, so I would suggest one of these blocks per person, unless you want it really spinachy, and then you could add an extra one itself. So I ended up putting 4 of the spinach in here, and that gave me a really nice coverage. Worked in well with them chickpeas. Again, we're just still reducing down. We're checking our temperatures on our chicken, keeping that moving and building our colour. When the chicken is cooked through and you're happy with the thickness of your curry, you can take it off, take the chicken off that skewer, put it on top of the skillet, and you can serve that at the table for guests, and they can see how beautiful succulent that chicken is, but it's got a nice bit of colour on the outside, and the curry is absolutely fantastic to go with it. It all works incredibly well. You can serve this with pilau rice, you can serve this with cauliflower rice, which we've done in a few recipes lately. I'm a massive fan of that at the moment. It's a lot less heavy than what rice is. It's got a bit more flavour than what your standard rice is, but you can stick your pilau seasoning in that, or any other seasoning, bit of umami oomph powder, anything you like, just to give it an extra bit of lift, and it works incredibly well. So we've got no taste test, but it worked really, really well. My wife, my eldest daughter and I, we all had this, we all loved it. Having them fire roasted veggies directly in that sauce works very, very well. It gives you that real smoky depth in there, and then you've then got the subtleness of your garam masala and your curry powder and things like that coming through, so that it's not going to completely overpower everything. It's not a massive punch of Indian flavour. You've got them real smoky flavours in there, and then the real Indian flavours as well, working together incredibly well. So if you like what we're doing here at Barbecue Life, then please do subscribe to the channel. Make sure you like the video, let me know what you think. Thank you very much for watching. Cheers.